Shut up, Marty.
Max, what are some of the franchises that people would like to see get out of their comfort zone?
Sebastian Thrower says The Order 1886 via Telltale old LucasArts style adventure game. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
I love that world.
So that's the thing is like the thing I didn't like about that game was the combat, and so the idea of just being able to tell a cool story about Victorian werewolves and have it be like choice based.
Cool Knights of the Round Table stuff.
Yeah.
Kleinfeld says a tactical RPG taking place in the Last of Us universe for Vita. Okay, that last part's kind of a stretch.
Well, we just want a Vita game.
Probably not Vita,
that.
but man, that's a really cool idea. Like almost like a tactic style, like almost like a Fire Emblem strategy game where you have to like avoid the clickers and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
And where you're sort of like getting a party of survivors and even have like a permadeath thing to where it's like harrowing and like
Last of Us, basically. Yeah. Oh, I'd love that.
I love that. I really wish they did more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also, it'd be really interesting because if you had like a stealth element and like you're trying not to shoot them with your guns, then you can blow your cover. So it's a matter of like actually sneaking around, which is kind of what was it Incognito's doing?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's what actually kind of bums me out the most. Like tangent about the sort of rise and fall of the Vita and also PlayStation Minis, in that there's less of a space for like just a small weird little game like that to be made.
Well, that's why I'm really glad that Hitman Go is coming, and I hope they eventually do Lara Croft Go, because those are games that like on an iPad are awesome. And it's like if you can put those into like get trophies and play them on PS4 or Vita, like that's kind of what I want, and especially on a plane. Like Lara Croft Go, Hitman Go are so good on planes.
Cool. Matthew Viteri said, open world God of War, all of Athens and surrounding areas, gathering powers and allies to fight the gods.
So this was less of a getting out of its comfort zone, and this is just more of what I think this game is going to be.
I was just going to say that is what I expect the next God of War.
What I expect God of War 4 to be. Especially since the series has first introduced early on PS2 and then obviously evolved to 3 on PS3. I don't think you can make a traditional linear. Not that I don't think you can, but I don't think they will make a traditional linear, gorgeous action game. I think it's going to have those set pieces, but also be a giant open world game with more RPG elements, just like every other game is.
Like how you get people more interested in that series.
I also want to rip a man's eyeball out and make him look at it.
Awful.
You can do
awful, that. Awful. Nick Zadaran, Bloodborne dating sim. You're going on a date with Vic or Amelia. Don't go to bed with the one reborn. It won't end well.
I love this idea. I want to go on a date with those toilet skulls that are all just with the hands.
I would love that. I'd love like a corny like. Oh,
what'd you think of the movie? I love you.
I got you a present. It's an ice cream sandwich.
I love that game.
Shane B says, I'd love to see Traveler's Tales. That's the Telltale. That's the Lego one. Tackle a Lego turn-based RPG. Keep the big open world and the collectibles tied to side missions, but give me the battle system of South Park or Child of Light. Keep the humor, the licensed properties, and of course, keep it Lego.
Man, that's really interesting.
Like, imagine if Lego, that was what Lego Dimensions was. Like, instead of being a Lego game, it's a big open RPG where you're like Gandalf and Doctor Who and
almost like with
Homer.
Skylanders, like you're leveling up those characters when you put them down, rather than just inserting them and playing as them.
And I think I also I adore the sort of simplistic 16-bit RPG natures of Child of Light and South Park. So
and like we've talked before, but like the best, in my opinion, the most interesting Lego games, at least if not the best, are like Lego City Stories, Lego City Undercover, which were taking just a weird Lego world, and obviously the Lego Movie ended up doing that a little better, but like. Man, it's really interesting to think about no license attached. Just like that level of destruction, that level of all the cool collectibles and all of that, but like not tied to any particular franchise.
But also, like, what if Final Fantasy went back to the traditional sort of 16-bit mentality by doing a thing like this, where it's like, hey, you can have Lego versions of Cloud and Terra and and Squall and everyone, but it's very simple and the RPG system is
isn't that kind of what was it Final Fantasy?
There's a
baby
couple
one that's coming to Vita.
Oh yeah, what is that game
Little
called?
Babies.
Not Explorers.
Explorers is the 3DS one.
World Champion. No.
Final Fantasy.
World of Explorers.
World of Final Fantasy.
World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, World of Final Fantasy.
Little baby Final Fantasy.
Yeah, LBFF. Four babies.
That looks pretty cute. I think that I don't know. I feel like turn-based RPGs are something that's really it's really for old people a lot. I mean, I guess there's obviously this Pokemon and stuff like that, but when I think of that, I think it's so almost antithetical to Lego. Yeah, like Lego is like a goof. It's like a running around little playful stuff. And like I remember as a kid, I always kind of hated turn-based stuff initially because it was like you're kind of waiting around. It's not like exciting, And the Lego games are sort of like squishy enough that you're not gonna you never get mad at them. Like they're very easy,
Yep.
I mean, it depends on the pacing,
Except
right?
the three of us playing Lego Marvel Adventures.
Like if it was one of those sort of like 3/4 top-down view things of the old like kind of big green flats that you build stuff on top of, and as you completed objectives, things built up around you.
Maybe really cute. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be cool.
That'd be interesting.
This next one's probably the one I think is the most interesting.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. Wesley Fernandez says Katamari murder mystery.
It was the big ball. Mystery solved. The thing covered in dead bodies killed the bodies.
I mean, I've always thought
It crushed them.
this is such a weird niche thing, obviously, but like I love the idea of a Katamari game where you don't control that ball, where like this ball is wreaking havoc and you're like one of the people on the ground that's like, hey, they just swallowed the Empire State Building. That's not good. Like, and have to figure out a way to stop it or something. Like,
And
I
at
think,
first, it's like, oh, it's cute. Look, it took care of our rat problem in our basement.
Like-
You're like,
like-
oh god, it killed our dog.
Roland Emmerich's Katamari Damacy.
yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God.
Yeah, I
Like
love that.
it starts off with this
Day after
infomercial
tomorrow.
for these things that help pick up dust in your basement or whatever, and it's
It
like
keeps growing.
your dead skin cells are everywhere, but they're so small you can't even see them. But Katamari can, and all of a sudden it starts picking them up, and it's like it got big enough to clean your backyard. Now it'll mow your lawn, and like days later, there's just this slow, methodic piano sound as all of your loved ones get attached to this thing, and like your school and your house and your job, and just rolls by, and it's
think
like, what will it catch next?
I think it'd be cool if at the end of every Katamari level you had to dispose of the evidence and roll that thing into a big quarry somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hide the bodies, all
disguise
300
it.
of them.
I like though because they're not dead because everyone's still alive in
I
the
know.
well until it gets turned into a star and then
Yeah,
I
until you
think
roll
it's-
into a
they're
quarry.
definitely
Yeah. So you cover it with dirt and make it a weird mountain.
Yeah. So here's another one. Josh Diendorf says Nintendogs, but with monsters from Bloodborne.
So that's where again you can either date them or own them.
Oh, I really like that. I really like that. So you can have the little
Yeah, like check in on them.
You can go on a date with Vic or Amelia, but then have the blah, blah, guys or dogs.
You can have a little toilet boy collection as baby dogs. I like this a lot. I definitely want a pet baby nightmare skeleton horse covered in old woman's hair.
Yeah. Justin Pauly said, finally, Jumping Flash VR.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Let's get Jumping
everyone,
Flash out of its comfort zone of the 90s and bring it to here.
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, everyone will vomit because all that game is about jumping in first person and then looking down and
What's
crashing
better
towards the
than
ground.
jumping in first person?
Hey, look, you can't have VR without some pukes.
There's
It's
gonna be
gonna-
some. There's gonna be some puke.
There's going to be a lot of puke.
I'm extremely excited that the prospect of weird VR outtakes. Like, remember when we had all those videos of people like ruining their living rooms with their Wiimotes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like knocking over lamps.
Or that
and-
guy that hit his wife.
Yeah.
That wasn't funny. He
I don't-
did
yeah,
that.
Yeah, I don't think the Wii
It was
was a
bad.
good excuse for that. It's
No.
horrible. But like, we're gonna have people.
They
who
didn't
are-
even have a
who are
Wii. He
getting-
was just a mean
who
husband.
are getting sick in their VR hats.
Yeah.
You know, people who are gonna get dizzy and fall over. It's gonna be an interesting thing.
Yep.
Yep.
And it might not be the majority, but it will probably be some of it.
Can't wait to see where they spew.